Ethan rambling, take one. If you're a filmmaker and you've made a few short films, chances are you've made a few bad ones. I mean, I know I definitely have. And if you're a filmmaker and you've made one film, chances are you've made one bad film. Everyone's first film is bad. The point here is we're human and we all make crap. And if you're anything like me, you've done your best to try and cover up the crap. And in theory, that makes pretty good sense. As a filmmaker, your main selling point is your portfolio. And it's pretty reasonable to not want your body of work to be tainted by the crappy drama film you made when you were 17. Okay, maybe you made it when you were 18. But I recently had an experience that made me question this line of thinking. It made me start to wonder if hiding my weaker projects was protecting me from embarrassment or preventing me from further development. I thought about this question for a while, and I reached some conclusions that I want to try and share with you today. Quick aside, I know that a lot of you who clicked on this video are probably leaving just about now. I see my analytics. That's totally fine, but I believe what I'm about to say here is actually really important, so I'm gonna say it before you do that. This is a message to every filmmaker out there. Filmmakers, release your bad films. So to ensure all this makes sense, I do have to tell a personal story. Not personal in a weird way, just one that's about me. Don't worry, it's gonna be short. Context. The year is 2023. Joe Biden is still in office. Writers and actors are striking all over Hollywood. And ChatGPT 4 is breaking new ground in America's ever-declining mental health. And on top of all that, I had just graduated from a year-long film program. That probably helped me less than a year of making funny, weird little short films on YouTube, one of which did pretty well because gay. I didn't know it at the time, but the months following my graduation from film school were going to be a very transformative period for me as a creative person. A period of time mostly defined by me trying to figure out how I could make good things without the resources of a year-long film program. Before film school, I felt pretty comfortable just pointing a camera at stuff and filming. I didn't focus that much on the technical side of filmmaking because I was just having fun. And I felt confident enough in my abilities as a storyteller to just have that not matter. Looking back, that confidence might have been a little misplaced, but that's beside the point. That was not the filmmaker that I was anymore. Now I actually knew some things, and I wanted people to see my work and get a sense that I knew some things. This sparked a fear inside me that I had never really experienced before, the fear of being compared to others. I was afraid that if my work didn't match up to the quality content I saw being produced online every single day, it just kind of meant that I sucked. This fear ended up making me pretty reluctant to post basically anything that I made. Now, I eventually did overcome this fear and I started releasing things again, but for a long time, the public has been spared every single project I made during that 4 to 6 month period. Until now. About 2 weeks ago, I finally decided to release one of these failed projects out into the world. A black and white comedy drama about an asshole who gets dumped. Yeah, I know, YouTube algorithm gold. I made this movie over a year ago, and the reality is it did not live up to my expectations. The one thing good about it for me is the acting. Both Preston and Willow do a really good job because they're good. Yeah, hats off to those guys, they did great. Everything else, I fucked up. But after a full year, I finally did release it. Why? Why did I do that? More importantly, why do I think you should do that? I got 3 reasons. Let's get into them. Reason 1, it's not just your work. Filmmaking is a collaborative art form. Unless you're generating AI slop, chances are you're not going to be able to do it alone. You're at least going to need a few actors, and if you're not a one-person crew because you don't hate yourself, then chances are you're going to need 2 to 3 crew members. It's important to remember that those people aren't just assets, they're people. They're creative individuals just like you, and they have taken time out of their day, probably for free, let's be real, to work on something that you're passionate about. Those people should get something out of their investment of time. And chances are that something is gonna be the project that you produce. Now, you can make the argument that if the project is bad, it won't be any use to the people who helped you make it, but I know from personal experience that that's not true. I have been a part of bad projects that have gotten me work. Because anybody who understands just a little bit about filmmaking knows that just because a project might have come out bad doesn't mean an individual person did a bad job. Movies contain a lot of moving parts. Maybe your screenplay was bad, so the whole movie is bad, but your sound mixer still did a pretty good job. They can still use that. Maybe your sound sucked, but the camera work was really good. Your camera operator can still use that. Nobody likes the feeling that their work amounted to nothing. And if you refrain from releasing a project, you might be inadvertently inflicting that feeling on the people who helped you make that project possible. You don't want to do that. It's not cool. Let's all try to be cool. Like the Fonz. Be cool like the Fonz. Reason 2. It's part of the learning process. Nobody likes walking away from a project feeling like they failed, that they did a bad job. But when that happens, and it will happen, you need to take that experience as what it is, a learning opportunity. And you're really not taking advantage of that opportunity if you don't just put the film out anyway. It's one thing to know that you messed up, but it's a completely different thing to understand how you messed up. And the best way to understand how you messed up is to get other people's perspectives. They say everyone is their own worst critic, and that's true, but I think it's actually true in a way that a lot of people don't consider. Yes, you probably are your own worst critic, but not just because you criticize yourself more than everyone else does, which is definitely a part of it, but also because the negative things that you see in yourself probably aren't perceivable by others if they're even there at all. They're things that nobody notices, and while you're fixated on those things, there are actual problems that you could be addressing. You're your own worst critic because you can't see yourself the way other people do, and you need that. That's the reason you probably have a friend or family member that seems to know you better than you know yourself. It's important for people, let alone creatives, to understand what's going on in other people's heads. And a good way to make sure that happens is by letting other people see your work and seeing how they react, or how they don't react sometimes. Another person is going to watch your movie and they're going to notice things that never would have occurred to you. Those observations are valuable, and trust me, you do want them. And you know a good way to get them? By releasing all your work, even your bad work. See, it all comes full circle. All right, second point over, moving on. Reason 3, it doesn't matter. This sounds a little brutal at first, but hear me out. You're hopefully already aware of this, but just in case you're not, I'm gonna remind you, you and I are not Christopher Nolan. There's not a bunch of people out there building expectations for your next project. No one cares. And that's great. You can make a bad film. You can make 10 bad films. Who's gonna see it? Probably no one. And you know what will happen after that? Probably nothing for a long while. But if you really care about this stuff, you'll get back up and you'll go make the next movie. And that next project might still be crap, but it will be less crap than the previous crap. Every new project that you take on is a reset. What happened in the past doesn't matter. You've grown past that and you're moving forward. I mean, hopefully that's what's happening. To close this random little video off, I just want to reiterate one final time. Filmmakers, release your bad films.